Hey, welcome to another adventure in old code. The place on the internet where we take a look at old QBasic code we wrote back in the day, and we laugh, we cry, we cringe, but mostly we just hang our heads in shame at what came out of our brains. It has been probably more than a year since I've done one of these things, so let's see if I still have the knack to do this. Today we're going to take a look at something called SHOTOUT2. The sequel to the last episode, Shootout, which was one of my brother's gems. So we are going to see what we've got today. So, let's make sure I remember how to use this computer. SHOTOUT2? There we go. So SHOTOUT2. This is obviously a sequel. SHOTOUT was a one-player game where we were playing against the computer. Well, let's just remind ourselves what that was, because it's been so long since we've seen it. Remember this thing? And then this was going here, and this was going here, and you tried to shoot. And then, you die. Remember that? Okay, well, this is something different. Okay, I think it's a sequel. Let's run it. Two guys facing off. Awesome. Okay, so do I move? Oh my word. I pressed the button and now there's 4 lines. Okay. I hit him right in the head and he's dead. Okay, what if I didn't hit him? So we'll go here. It's still the same mechanics. I tried to hit the bad guy, I missed, and so he shot me dead. But I'm not sure what this other sequence... I'm trying to hit buttons now to make those other lines go. I'm pressing 0. Trick I learned last time. I shot him in the leg, which is not a kill shot. We remember that from last time. If not, go back and watch Shootout. Episode 82. Okay, well, let's peruse his code to see what we've got, because I'm confused as to those other 2 lines. All right, we've got shot and B shot. Subroutines were screen 12. Again, the 640 by 480 screen resolution. Clear the screen, then we do shot. And this is drawing the guy. We've seen this guy numerous times. Okay. And we're clearing the screen and B shot. And this will be the... Now, I assumed that this was bad shot. Yeah. Maybe what I should do is put an end here after B shot, just to make sure. So B shot is the one that's facing up. I assumed that was me. And shot is, whoops, definitely. And that's shot. Okay, so here's what my confusion is. My confusion is that we've got 2 guys on screen. We have shot, which draws the bad guy, and I know this because we're putting him in a variable called bad. We draw him, we do all of his stuff, and then we get that square around him and we put it into the variable bad. And then we do B shot, which is good. We get it and put it into a variable called good. So B shot doesn't mean bad guy. B means he's got his back towards us, maybe? Okay. So anyway, we clear the screen. So we're doing all that. We're clearing the screen so many times, clearing the screen. It's hilarious. Okay. That's fine. And okay, so we got our dim share, good, bad, and good. These are our images. So the good's aimer and the bad's aimer. And they're both starting out at 450, 400. Is that... Oh, yeah, because they're both pointed at that bottom right-hand pixel. It's just we've got the bad guy's lines on the left and the top, and the good guy's lines on the bottom and the right, but they are both pointed at the same pixel. Okay. Whoops. Okay, bad's coordinates is 300 to 200. And then we put the bad guy and the good guy. And so we got coordinates for the bad guy in variables, but then we just put him using direct literals and constants. So, okay, that's fine. I mean, what I mean is we could have, because we made variables for him, for his position, he could have done this, which would have been exactly the same thing. But he didn't. He wanted to go and use numbers again. That's fine. And then 300 is our good guy. Okay, that's fine. Now we're gonna see, this is very similar to Shootout, except he's added a second key capture here. Okay, so we're looping until, see, what is this? The reason why this is funny is that, okay, so S string equals in key string and SS string equals in key string. So what this is going to do is it's going to scan the keyboard, and in the instant that it is checking this line, if there was a key press, it goes in S string. But like a nanosecond afterwards, it starts checking for this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. So this will rapidly, basically this is going to loop until a key is pressed. And once a key is pressed, the user doesn't know if it's in the S variable or the SS variable. So it's a mystery. And we're looping until one of them is not empty. So half the time when we get out of this loop, S string has a value, and the other half of the time, SS string has a value. Okay, and then we have a nested do here. Okay, so we're going to draw our line, and this is X. What's X? X is the good guy's aimer. X1 is the bad guy's aimer. Okay, so good guy is just X. Bad guy is X1. Okay, so we're going to draw the good guy's lines the same way we did that last time. And we're going to draw the bad guy's lines. Okay, that's fine. So these are the two lines on the... these are all the gray lines. Okay. Moving on. Now we're going to ask, again, we're in this scenario that we rapidly check. Actually, this one's okay because it's in a do loop where it does other things. So if we didn't hit a key, and then we didn't hit a key, then it's just going to carry on with its day. But it'll loop probably down here until Q or QQ string is not equal to empty. This is the same logic we saw, and it's very confusing. So if S string is equal to 4, we're moving left. Again, this is the same logic as moving the lines, positioning our gun in the previous game. Shootout. So 6, 8, and 2. But if SS string equals A, oh, I see. D, and he's used Z and W. A, D, Z, and W. That's awkward. Usually it's A, S, D, W. If you want to recreate arrow keys on the left side of the keyboard. But you know what? He didn't even use the regular arrow keys. He used the numpad. Oh, because S is probably to shoot. S is probably to shoot. Okay, so if I come in here and I start moving these things, I can move these things. But I can also... press... Oh, there we go. And that took a while to register. Why isn't it... This isn't working the way you want it. Because I'm pressing the buttons, but the... Oh, now the left one works. Or the top works. But I'm hitting left, hitting left, hitting left, hitting left. Oh, now it goes. Hitting down, hitting down, hitting down, hitting down, hitting down, hitting down. It's still not going. Now it goes. So those are really hard to deal with. But these are fine. Now, was that on purpose or was that... Okay, so if we hit A, then we're going to erase the line. Decrease X. Yeah, because we're moving to the left, and the same thing. So we're going to change we're going to erase the line and change its position. And we're looping until one of them is not empty. Okay. So once we kick out of here, somebody pressed a button. If Q string wasn't 5, we're going to draw the lines again, only if Q string wasn't 5. Then we're going to ask for input once again. If Q string was 4, we're going to do all the positioning all over again. Everybody's doing this. And, oh, his loops are all messed up here. Where's his... There's his if. So that belongs there. We're looping until S string is not empty. Okay. What? So we're doing all this, and then we're looping until Q string, which is obviously the normal guys. The guy who's facing up, the guy who uses the numpad. 5 is his shoot. Or S. Oh, wait a second. No. That's right, because the single character variable names all have to do with that one player. So loop until the good guy shoots. So the question is, and then we carry on. Now, why am I not seeing... Why is it so hard for the bad guys' lines to move? Okay, let's take a look here. Yeah, see, You know what? I have a sneaking suspicion. Okay, what I'm going to do is let's change everything here. Let's do the bad guys checks first. Now, theoretically, this shouldn't do a whole lot because it's, it's instantaneous, really. One right after the other. But I wonder if now the bad guys things move very nicely. And the good guys things, they don't quite move. Yeah. Press. I'm pressing left. There we go. It moved a little bit. Okay. So this is an issue where there must be a delay in QBasic's call interrupts when it's accepting keyboard input. Because the first one here works. But then the next one is very hard to get working. You need to basically... Well, of course. No. Interesting. Wait a second. Somehow that first line is being done way more often than the second. Okay, there is something called a keyboard buffer, and we've talked about this before, but when you hit a button, it doesn't immediately make its way into the computer. It first goes into a keyboard buffer. And then when you say in key string, you just ask for the next character in the buffer. Let's make sure that we can actually see that. Device, IO function that reads a character from the keyboard. And these are the key codes. No, but what I really want... So let's make a new file, because I want to figure something out. I want to see if my my theory is correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a loop, and it's going to go forever. And we're going to have a very big weight here. 1 to 100,000. Okay, let's just make sure this is a good enough weight. Print hello. Okay, that's a good enough weight. So now what we're going to do is we are going to wait for a really long time, get whatever key we've pressed, if there's a key that's pressed, and then we're going to say if string equals, we'll say J, then print pressed J. Okay. Else print pressed nothing. Okay. And if. So we're going to wait for quite a while. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a button right away. Well, let's say else if string equal, whoops. String equals an empty string. Right, then. What? You guys, this has been so long I don't know how to do an if-else statement. Come on. If, else, oh, else if is 2 words. Okay, 1 word. Okay, else if, here we go. Pressed nothing. Here, this is what we're going to do. I just realized I can just print S string. Okay, so we're going to wait for a long time. Let's even make this longer. And so if I run it, we wait for a long time, it says press nothing. And we can scroll lock this. Let's clear the screen. Okay, so now I'm going to press something, J. Whoops, pressed. There we go. So, press a J. Wait. It says press J, and I forgot to do a space, but now it says press nothing. Press nothing. Press nothing. And I go EE. Pressed E. Pressed E. Pressed nothing. So that indeed is what in key string. So every time you hit a button, it goes into the keyboard buffer and just waits there for the computer to pick it up. Assigning a variable the value of in key string is exactly that. It goes to the computer, goes to the keyboard buffer, grabs the next character, and puts it in your variable. So the problem is in SHOTOUT2, and I think that this is. He probably wrote this, came across this, and then didn't know what to do and probably didn't fix it, unless there's a SHOTOUT3, which I don't think so. So that's what's happening. So right now, after you ask for input here on the Q string, then you go down to, actually this is not the loop that we were at. Here we go. First you take whatever's in the keyboard buffer, assign it to S string. And then you assign if you didn't hit a button in between these two statements, which is almost no time at all, so it'd be very hard to do. If you hit something here, then it would register, it would go all the way around the loop, it would go into the keyboard buffer, it would go all the way down, it would still be in the keyboard buffer, you go all the way up to the loop, and it would be assigned to S string. So you have in between here, in between these two statements, actually register bad guys buttons. Everywhere else in the program, you're registering the good guys buttons. So that's why we're having an issue. Now, how to fix this? Well, it's I'm not sure. I really don't know how you fix something like this. The issue is you could use the same variable for everything. So you could use all the S's, but the problem with that is if you just use the same S variable, and you checked if oh no, yeah, that wouldn't work. Because you're relying on the previous value for Q string to actually move the line. So if you only had one value for Q string, which line are you hitting? I see what he wanted to do here. He wanted both things to be nice and fluid, but because of this in-key string usage and the limitations with the keyboard buffer, you really wouldn't be able to do that. The only thing you'd have to get a little more clever. You'd have to use only one input variable and then check it. And you'd have to start storing other values based on the key press instead of relying on the key press. So for instance, Q string right now, it was assigned to in key string. So was QQ. You could remove it and just say Q string equals in key string. But then you'd have to have two different variables like person1Q and person2Q. And, if Q string was 4, then person1Q is 4. Like you'd have to branch out, accept input at one variable, and then make decisions. The problem is accepting input with two variables and then depending on those values. So that's a little unfortunate. I see what he wanted to do. He was probably really disappointed when this ended up not working. But it was a good idea. Now the interesting thing though is that we're not done. S string equals 5. So both people, oh no. Because the Q and the S are the good guys, so if he shoots, loop until the good guy shoots. Okay. Then play this song. First erase the lines, play the song. So, and here's that little tiny box we saw last time. So, yeah. So the X is the good guy shot. The XX is the bad guy shot. Okay. So the X, basically if the good guy hits the bad guy. Otherwise, so yeah, if he hits him, just like last time, draw a red dot and then just draw a little blood splatter. Otherwise, set a gray pixel, sleep for a second, do the miss, and paint. So this is the exact same game. It ends the exact same way. But he started to try, I suspect he was trying to incorporate the second player, tried the loop, figured it didn't work, and then abandoned the project. I suspect what you were supposed to do was the good guy is supposed to aim, take a shot, and then the bad guy is supposed to aim. No. You probably both aim at the same time, and the first player who takes a shot, it must have been a race to shoot the other guy, but you could miss. So it was a neat idea. It just didn't work out because of the silly inky string. And so because that didn't work, he didn't finish the checks to see if the bad guy hit the good guy. So this is an incomplete program, and he was probably a little bit frustrated. So that's unfortunate, but it was a good idea. I want to see if there's a shootout. We'll just... Maybe he fixed this in a later version. See, he's got a lot of... There's a shootout, SHOTOUT2. I don't see... No, I don't see a SHOTOUT3, but there's a shooting, a shoot gam, shooting. So there's a lot of shooting going on, and I'm sure we're going to get to something that's a little more complete. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for joining me in this adventure in No Code. Have a nice day, and we will see you next time.